Have you ever been in a season where the pressure just wouldn't let up, where nothing around you changed, but you still had to show up each and every day? Have you ever felt like, man, something just gotta give or I'm gonna break? But the real question is, what if nothing changes? Welcome to Divine Living with Purpose with Alicia. Over the last couple of episodes, we've been walking through a lot of pressure. We've been walking through what it does to your identity, how it tries to reshape you, what it exposes, and what it requires from you. And then the last episode, Stand, even if you're standing alone, we talked about standing when it costs you, standing when it creates distance, when you have to make a decision that is contrary to your own internal beliefs and your morals. Do you have the courage to still stand even if you're standing alone in that decision that you've made? But what do you do when you're just under so much immense pressure and it stays constant and it stays persistent and you still have to function in it? What do you do? There are seasons where, the pressure isn't just coming from one place. It's coming from all over the place. It's layered. It's work that requires you. It's people that depend on you. It's life. Life just keeps on moving while all these different things are coming at you left and right. Nothing pauses just because you're feeling the weight of it all. You still have to show up. You still have to lead and you still have to make decisions while everything just feels so stretched across your life. And at some point, you kind of realize that, man, nothing's really shifting. I'm not really getting any relief right now. Is there any relief on the horizon? And that changes the question from, man, how do I get out of this, to how do I stay steady in the middle of all of this? We're human, right? We assume that, the stability will come when things settle down. But in reality, the real stability is built when things don't settle down, right? And, throughout the course of the series, we've been primarily focusing on Daniel chapter 1. And, Daniel, he didn't get a break from the pressure. He was placed in an environment that was truly designed to reshape him and give him a new identity. He was exiled and placed in a new culture with new expectations and new influences. Everything around him was trying to redefine who he was and just erase everything about his birthright, his internal being. But God showed up for him so many times, and he showed up for him consistently. He gave him favor, he gave him wisdom, he gave him understanding. He didn't remove him from that environment, but he sustained him within it. And, we see that Daniel was just so anchored in God that he expected him to show up each and every time. And this is the part, honestly, that gets a little personal for me. Because if you're in this season right now where you're just under a lot of pressure, I'm right here with you. I'm in a space right now where I can't quite leave yet. My time, my mission, my everything that I'm supposed to accomplish, my time is not up yet for me to just up and leave, But in the meantime, I still have to show up. I still have demands on me. I still have to lead. I still have to make decisions. I have to be on all the time. And it's so hard to do when my heart and my mind are in a completely different place and space from where my body is, where I'm currently sitting is not truly aligned to my purpose anymore. And you just figure out a way to kind of deal with the situation that you're in, because you can't quite leave it and escape it right now. And for me, it's like, man, as soon as I feel like, I finally got a clear path now. I finally figured out how I can catch a break from some of the pressure. And then something shifts. You got friction that comes out of nowhere. You got confusion that comes out of nowhere. You got all these extra demands that are placed on you. Does that sound like you? Where there's just so much being required of you, but internally you just feel stretched so thin. So the question becomes, how do you sustain? How do you sustain? For me, that answer has been God. He's always been the one that's been sustaining me. He's been the one that's been giving me the wisdom and the knowledge and the clarity and the foresight that I need to make decisions, to be able to look ahead and anticipate requirements and, just anticipate friction points. It's always been him that has outlaid those things for me. He's given me the strength to keep moving forward, even when I really don't feel like it. When I feel like I just don't have it in me. Every day he deposits something inside of me, just a little bit more. He just keeps adding and filling my tank each and every day. Even on the days and weeks where I know, honestly, I should probably be laid out somewhere in a fetal position trying to hide and recover from, the demands and the pressures of life, right? But I'm still moving. I'm still thinking clearly. I'm still showing up each and every day. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that it's not me. I can't take the credit for that. I have to give all that credit to God. Because, God doesn't always remove you out of situations just because it's hard. Let me say that again. God doesn't always remove you out of situations just because it's hard. Sometimes that pressure is producing something inside of you that you didn't even know that you possess. For some, pressure produces strength. For others, it exposes weaknesses and cracks, areas that we may need to fortify, But nonetheless, he's still there. He's still present. He's still present with you throughout all the pressure that you're going through. So don't just endure it. Anticipate him. Anticipate him showing up just like Daniel did. So what's the response? You stay anchored. You got to stay anchored. You stop waiting for everything to settle and you start depending on what doesn't move. What is the one constant thing in all of the stuff that's going on? And it's God. You got to go back to God. You go back to him in prayer. You go to him in that stillness. You go to him in truth. And you don't let that pressure disconnect you from him. When we go through things in life, we want to, isolate and disassociate and, try to run and find some cover from the pressure and the blows of life. And it's easy to do that because you're just looking for some relief. But don't allow the pressure to disconnect you from him. You let that pressure drive you to him because that's where your strength's going to come from. That's where your sustainment is going to come from. Because that pressure doesn't always challenge you. It reveals you. It shows you what you're truly made of. It shows you what your foundation is built on. And if you let it, you can allow it to strengthen you and fortify what it is that you really need to have inside of you so that you continue pressing forward and so that you can continue to sustain yourself and push through life without having to wait till things settle down. You allow God to meet you there. So let me ask you something. Are you waiting for things to change? Are you waiting for things to settle down, or are you allowing God to meet you where you are? When I look back over this series, and I encourage you, if you haven't listened to episodes 1 through 5, this series, Faith Under Pressure, wasn't just about pressure. It's about identity. It's about who you are when you're placed in an environment that doesn't suit you. When the environment tries to change who you are, it tries to get you to conform to the ways and the things within it that that are contrary to your morals and your values. The series is about, what you consume. Who are you listening to? What are you listening to? Who's the company you're keeping? Are you allowing those things and those external influences to shape you? Are you really being nourished by those things that you are allowing in your life? Are you allowing those things to seep in your spirit and, change your way of thinking? That's something to reflect on and take a little bit of inventory on across your life. It was about standing, as I stated before. Standing in your truth when you got to make a hard decision, when you got to make the hard right over the easy wrong, even if it creates distance between people and things, and it may not look like the popular opinion. But now, this episode is about recognizing that God has been present in every part of it. But the real question is, are you sitting still long enough to recognize that he's right there? One of my favorite scriptures is Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who are burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Break that down. Come to me, all who are burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He's inviting you to come to him, to let him carry things that you were never meant to hold and carry on your own. So allow him to meet you in it. Allow him to strengthen you in it. Whatever season you're in right now, look for him in it. Look for him to sustain you in it. Expect him to show up in the depths of your pressure, because he shows up in the pressure. And if this mini series resonated with you, I encourage you to follow and share, and stay tuned for more conversations on navigating life, everyday life, in your work, in your home, your family, your community, all the spaces that you show up in. This is Alicia with Divine Living with Purpose. And until next time, I'll meet you right where you are.